Chapter 81 The Big Snake That Knows the Art of War. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What a bad luck, you came to mess with me. Taiwan Novel Network. Seeing this, Cang Nian was speechless. What he wanted to catch was a big snake, not a big cat. However, groundhogs are also on the lynx's menu. No animal would refuse to eat without hunting hard, but he was so angry that Cang Nian immediately jumped down from the tree. And the lynx's ears were really not covered. As soon as Cang Nian started, he heard the noise, but its reaction speed was enough, but its absolute speed could not keep up. In less than a second, Cang Nian came to the lynx and scared it. But seeing that it was just such a small tiger cub, the lynx was relieved again. Fortunately, it was not a big tiger, otherwise it would be finished today. Snap. Ding. Tear and scratch once. Tear and scratch skill proficiency +1. 1000/10,000, but the next second, it didn't think so, although Cang Nian is much smaller than it, as the ceiling of cats and the top 3 of land carnivores, his innate advantage is huge. Although he is small, Cang Nian's claws are actually bigger than those of the lynx. With one palm, the lynx weighing 20 to 30 kilograms was hit against the tree trunk behind it. This made the lynx feel like being hit by a heavy hammer. For a while, it was very depressed, had difficulty breathing, and almost vomited blood. Now, the ease in its eyes turned into fear. What the hell? How can this little tiger cub have such great strength? The lynx struggled to get up and saw Cang Nian raise his claws again. He fled in panic and almost hit the tree trunk, and Cang Nian didn't chase him. In fact, with his current strength, it is not difficult to kill a lynx that is much larger than himself. But this guy just accidentally disturbed his plan to catch a big snake, so there is no need to kill him. It is not prey, nor is it an irreconcilable conflict, so Cang Nian will not kill it indiscriminately. Otherwise, the strike he just made would not be a palm with the claw blade retracted, but a claw that bounced out of the claw blade. With the fragile defense of the lynx, blood would be seen in one shot. After driving away the accident, Cang Nian climbed up the tree again. Ah! Seeing Cang Nian coming back, Tiger Brother shouted excitedly, "Brother is so awesome." That was a big cat that was much bigger than his brother, and it was driven away by his brother's claw. However, thinking of Cang Nian hunting a wild boar with Tiger Dad not long ago, Tiger Brother thought it was nothing. Compared with the wild boar, this lynx is too small. Even the wild boar was killed by his brother, and there is nothing to be proud of for scaring away a big cat. Cang Nian didn't know what Tiger Brother was thinking. He just pressed his claws on Tiger Brother's mouth to prevent it from making any sound. Cang Nian didn't quite remember how good Snake's hearing was, but it's always better to be careful and not make any noise. Just like that, another half an hour passed. Hey! At this time, a rustling sound came from under the bushes. I hope it's not here to make trouble. Cang Nian was refreshed and looked over quickly, and this time, he was not disappointed. A head with a slightly pointed front, flat overall, and black body, quite large, emerged from the bushes. Then, behind the head, a uniform and thick body was brought out, slowly crawling towards the groundhog corpse under the tree. When it came to the groundhog corpse, the big guy spit out the snake tongue, as if judging the size, and opened his mouth. After a while, its mouth opened 120 degrees and swallowed the groundhog's body from the head. Fuck, so handsome, isn't this a black king snake? It's too big, isn't it? Seeing the big snake finally lured out, Cang Nian sighed in his heart. In his previous life, he was an orphan and had few friends, so he was quite interested in many pets. In addition to the more common cats and dogs, birds, fish and turtles, he also paid attention to reptiles for a while. Among them, the one he liked the most was the black king snake. This snake is non-toxic, but it is immune to the venom of other types of snakes, and the handsome appearance of the whole body is the dream snake of many reptile lovers. Of course, a poor guy like Cang Nian can't even afford to raise cats and dogs, so naturally he has no conditions to raise such an exotic pet. He can only watch videos online to raise it. However, this snake is actually a pet snake introduced from abroad, and there should be no wild species in Longwa. I guess some dog owner didn't close the breeding box well, and it ran out. After understanding what kind of snake it was, Cang Nian relaxed a lot. After all, The most frightening thing about snakes is their toxicity. Non-toxic snakes are much less threatening. Don't be fooled by the fact that this guy is 30 centimeters wide and nearly 10 meters long, but his actual weight is no more than 200 kilograms, compared to Tiger Dad. He is much weaker, but his speed may not be slow. In order to deal with it in one go, I'll go down first and distract his attention. With my speed, there will be no danger if I'm careful, then let Tiger Dad take it down when it's not paying attention. Seeing this, Cang Nian already had a specific plan in his mind. Immediately, Cang Nian winked at Tiger Dad and Tiger Brother, and ran down from the tree. Sensing movement around it, the Black King Snake jerked back its head while it was swallowing the prairie dog. Immediately, its eyes, as dark as the night sky, looked at Cang Nian. Then, it stopped swallowing, raised the front half of its body, lowered its head, and spat out the woodchuck. Seeing this, Cang Nian's muscles tensed up, ready to jump away from where he was at any moment. This guy is very clear-headed and knows that his most powerful weapon is his mouth. He also knows that forcibly swallowing prey will affect the subsequent battle. This is a Black King Snake whose IQ is no worse than that of a male wild boar. Facing such an enemy, Cang Nian did not dare to be careless at all, but then, after spitting out the prairie dog, the Black King Snake used its big head to push the prairie dog's body towards Cang Nian. It was as if it thought Cang Nian wanted to eat the prairie dog, so it let the prey out. What is this for? To show weakness to the enemy? To make me lower my guard and give me a fatal blow? Seeing this, Cang Nian became even more vigilant. Turtle, are these evolved beasts so smart now? Can you use the 36 strategies of war without the guidance of others? After understanding the Black King Snake's intention, Cang Nian still stayed put, stay unchanged in response to ever-changing changes. At this time, the Black King Snake found that Cang Nian was not coming to eat the prairie dog, so it used its big head to push the prairie dog corpse until it was in front of Cang Nian. Humph! By giving up your prey to me, you got close to me unknowingly. Do you think I can't tell? Seeing this, Cang Nian sneered in his heart. Chapter 82 Snake Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding! Ding! Tear and scratch once, tear and scratch skill proficiency +1. 1001/10,000, recognizing the intention of the Black King Snake, Cang Nian didn't think twice and slapped its big head with one claw. Cang Nian didn't expect to cause any damage to it. After all, the size difference was too big, but relying on his own speed, it was still possible to test the opponent's strength. Taiwan Novel Network. However, this guy's head was really hard, and it felt like hitting on bluestone when he slapped it. It didn't feel as good as the fat fur and pads of Tiger Brother, which made Cang Nian's claws hurt. After the hit, Cang Nian immediately jumped away, not giving the opponent a chance to counterattack, but the Black King Snake, after being slapped by Cang Nian, immediately shrank its head and coiled up its body, staring at Cang Nian with a pair of eyes as dark as the night sky. Cang Nian actually saw confusion and grievance in its eyes. I must be hallucinating. It must be my pet filter for the Black King Snake. Cang Nian shook his head and drove this weird guess out of his mind. Although Cang Nian had never raised a Black King Snake in his previous life, the super high appearance of the Black King Snake fascinated Cang Nian in his previous life, but the one in front of him was a guy who had followed his family all the way with bad intentions. No matter how much he liked this kind of snake, he couldn't joke about the safety of his family. Humph. Since you are pretending to be aggrieved with me, don't blame me for being rude. Cang Nian snorted in his heart. Immediately, he stepped forward again and slapped the Black King Snake on the head with one claw. What he didn't expect was that this guy didn't dodge or evade, but took his attack head-on. This made Cang Nian feel looked down upon, so the attack on his claws became more and more fierce. Ding ding ding. Again and again, Cang Nian's claws slapped the Black King Snake's head like beating a drum, but the Black King Snake didn't dodge at all. Seeing Cang Nian suppressing such a big Black King Snake, Tiger Brother on the tree forgot Cang Nian's instructions not to make a sound and shouted excitedly. As if aware of Tiger Brother's voice, the Black King Snake raised its head and looked up at the tree. Seeing this, Cang Nian cursed Tiger Brother in his heart while attacking the Black King Snake with his claws to prevent it from attacking Tiger Brother. But after a few more slaps, Cang Nian realized that this guy was still lying on the ground motionless, with no intention of moving at all, and Tiger Brother's cry made Tiger Dad realize that he was also exposed, so he climbed down from the tree. Seeing this, the Black King Snake shrank his neck slightly in fear, but when he saw Cang Nian's claws slapping, he actually stretched out his head again so that Cang Nian could hit it. This time, even Tiger Dad, who had just come down, was stunned. How come there are animals that are eager to be beaten? What's going on with this guy? If all his previous behaviors were to deceive me, now that Tiger Dad has appeared, it should feel afraid and want to escape, right? It's not poisonous, and with this size, it can't be a match for Tiger Dad. Now, Cang Nian was also puzzled. However, after a careful observation, Cang Nian suddenly noticed that the body of the Black King Snake was trembling a little. It doesn't have the confidence to face Tiger Dad, it is still very afraid of Tiger Dad, but why doesn't it run? After noticing this, Cang Nian had more doubts in his heart, but then, an absurd guess emerged from Cang Nian's mind. No way. This guess was too outrageous, but all the phenomena pointed to this guess, so, Cang Nian tentatively raised his claws. This time, his claws did not fall directly, but hung in the air, and realizing that Cang Nian did not slap his claws down, the Black King Snake stretched its head forward, as if to make it easier for Cang Nian. This made Cang Nian's heart jump, and then he became bolder and slowly moved his claws towards the head of the Black King Snake. Ah! Tiger Dad, who was standing by, saw Cang Nian's action and quickly reminded him, snakes are very scary. You will die if bitten. Tiger Dad, who didn't know that the Black King Snake was not poisonous, was very worried about Cang Nian. Regarding Tiger Dad's worry, Cang Nian said that he knew the limit. His claws moved closer to the head of the Black King Snake little by little. The Black King Snake noticed Cang Nian's action and waited quietly, but when Cang Nian's claws were very close, it couldn't help but jump forward again. Hiss. The Black King Snake's snake tongue quickly swept over Cang Nian's claws, as if remembering Cang Nian's smell, but it never opened its mouth to attack Cang Nian. Seeing this, Cang Nian became even bolder. His claws landed on the top of the Black King Snake's head. However, this time it was not a quick slap, but a quick retraction. Instead, it gently placed it on top. Hiss. Sensing Cang Nian's kind gesture, the Black King Snake shook its big head gently, rubbing Cang Nian's claws with the scales on its head, just like a cat or dog being patted on the head by its owner. You're right. It has a good impression of me, even to the point of gratitude. Does it know that the food it picked up on the road was all hunted by me? By the way, the Black King Snake is not a native species, it is 100% a pet raised by humans, and perhaps it does not have the ability to hunt in the wild at all, so, it is possible that it became bigger and bigger due to evolution, and its owner abandoned it out of fear or because there was no corresponding live food to feed it. In the wild, the Black King Snake, which has no ability to hunt on its own, may have been hungry for a long time. Only after meeting me did it eat its first meal of meat after being abandoned, and later followed my family to migrate to this new habitat. Along the way, I kept hunting small prey, so it followed me and ate all the way, so in disguise, I fed it when it should have starved to death, so it felt grateful to me. That's why its first reaction when it saw me was not to attack or escape, but to spit out the marmot and push it to me. It thought that this prey was what I wanted, not the prey I had thrown away, so no matter how I hit it, it would not fight back, and even stretch its head to make it easier for me to hit it. After confirming that the Black King Snake was friendly to him, Cang Nian connected all the strange situations together. The tiger father on the side was shocked. The little cub actually touched the big snake with his claws. And the big snake didn't bite the little cub. At this time, the tiger brother also came down from the tree, but he was timid and a little afraid of the Black King Snake. He huddled behind the tiger father and watched curiously. After Cang Nian was more than 90% sure that the Black King Snake was friendly to him, he became bolder. He climbed directly onto the rather broad back of the Black King Snake. The Black King Snake did not move around, and even controlled the ribs to relax, making it wider. Ah! Cang Nian shouted excitedly, and asked the Black King Snake to crawl forward. Yeah. In fact, Cang Nian was just fantasizing about satisfying his desire, and did not expect the Black King Snake to understand his voice. but what he did not expect was that after he gave this order, the Black King Snake actually swam on the ground of the jungle. Chapter 83, Conquering the Black King Snake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Black King Snake crawls naturally in a snake-like manner, with its slender body twisting and moving forward close to the ground. However, fortunately, when it crawls, the first half is relatively stable, and it will not make Cang Nian sway left and right, and Cang Nian's long-term training has given him a good sense of balance. So he only needs to adapt a little and stand steadily on the Black King Snake's back of about 30 centimeters. Cang Nian can feel the tough muscle contraction and relaxation from the contact between his claws and the other's back, which is very rhythmic. The speed of the Black King Snake is not slow either. With Cang Nian, it can reach about 15 kilometers per hour. This doesn't look good, but it is obviously not the instantaneous burst speed of the Black King Snake. It is already quite amazing to be able to maintain such a speed for a long time. Cang Nian found that this Black King Snake is quite smart. Although it is not as he misunderstood before, it can use military tactics with ease, but it will actively observe the road ahead, and the routes chosen are all areas that ensure that Cang Nian will not be caught by bushes and branches, and Cang Nian does not need to dodge or anything throughout the whole process. Obviously, it not only deliberately made Cang Nian ride as comfortably as possible, but also had excellent spatial judgment, and could accurately determine where to pass without hitting Cang Nian. AO. Just as Cang Nian was enjoying riding the snake, the call of Tiger Brother came from behind. I saw that Tiger Dad and Tiger Brother were chasing behind. Tiger Dad had no problem. His speed was not slow. With the deepening of evolution, even if his endurance was not too strong, he could still keep up with the speed of the Black King Snake, but this was hard for Tiger Brother. At this speed, Tiger Brother needed to run close to the limit to keep up. AO. Seeing this, Cang Nian hurriedly called out and asked the Black King Snake to stop. Sure enough, this big guy could understand the meaning of his call. With Cang Nian's order, he gradually slowed down and stopped. Who? After a while, Tiger Brother caught up with Tiger Dad. After catching his breath, Tiger Brother looked at the Black King Snake with shining eyes. This is great. With this big guy, he can patrol the territory with his brother and father without having to walk by himself. Although Tiger Brother was still quite scared when he saw the Black King Snake, which was nearly 10 meters long and 30 centimeters wide, at first sight, but since his brother has subdued it, there is nothing to be afraid of. In Tiger Brother's opinion, the Black King Snake was scared by Cang Nian's claws, so he let him ride it. Tiger Brother felt the same way. He was also scared by his brother's beating. He did it as soon as he thought of it. Tiger Brother excitedly shouted at Cang Nian, saying that he also wanted to ride the Black King Snake, but before Cang Nian could answer, the Black King Snake coiled up and raised its head. Obviously, it didn't want Tiger Brother to ride it. Cang Nian threw down the prey he hunted to feed it, and it felt grateful to Cang Nian and was willing to let Cang Nian ride it. Tiger Brother did nothing. Why should he let it ride? And the Black King Snake can't express its intentions with a cry. Seeing the Black King Snake's posture, Tiger Father thought that this big guy was going to attack Tiger Brother. He immediately stood forward, his claws raised, ready to slap at any time, so that this black guy could taste his power. AOO. Seeing this, Cang Nian hurriedly stopped in the middle and explained to Tiger Father the cause and effect. After a while, Tiger Father realized that this big guy followed from his family's original territory. Because Cang Nian kept hunting small prey and threw away what he couldn't eat, he fed this big guy, so this big guy had a strong goodwill towards Cang Nian. At the same time, Cang Nian also told Tiger Father that he wanted to raise this Black King Snake. On the one hand, he had to brush up the skill proficiency of the slaughter skill from time to time, but the appetite of a tiger family was so large, and it would be a waste if he didn't eat it after hunting. Raising a Black King Snake could be used as a trash can. The result of throwing it away casually is that such a big guy was raised. This made Cang Nian alert. In the case of evolution, sufficient food will accelerate the growth of body size. Because his family is an animal with obvious size limit like tigers, the growth does not seem obvious. Wild boars and Black King Snakes are animals without obvious size limit. As long as there is more food, they can grow big. Evolution makes this effect more obvious, so that when the Black King Snake was in the original territory of Cang Nian's family, it was only 10 centimeters wide. After more than half a month, it is now 30 centimeters wide. He doesn't know if there are any evolved creatures like the black king snake lurking in this jungle. If there are, wouldn't his behavior of hunting and throwing away the prey while patrolling the territory be cultivating other evolved creatures invisibly? And now, this black king snake can be said to be obedient to him and is a very ideal little brother. Of course, Cang Nian is not a professional, so he can't tell whether a black king snake is a male or female snake, but in short, such a black king snake is undoubtedly a more ideal choice for a subordinate beast than a male wild boar that is extremely cunning, fierce and experienced. Moreover, its strength must be not weak. In this environment where all creatures can evolve, it is a very good helper. By the way, it can also satisfy my little wish of raising a black king snake in my previous life. The nearly 10-meter-long black king snake is much more handsome than those finger-thick little spicy strips. Ah! After listening to Cang Nian's explanation patiently, Tiger Dad nodded. The little cub is so smart, he must have his reasons for doing this. However, Tiger Dad did not forget to remind Cang Nian to be careful of this big guy. After all, in terms of hard power, Cang Nian is obviously not an opponent of a big guy like the black king snake. If this guy gains the trust of the little cub and launches a sneak attack, it will be very dangerous. After listening to Tiger Dad's advice, Cang Nian nodded seriously. Of course, he was not dazzled by the black king snake, the race of his dream snake, and he still had to be vigilant, but compared to the risks he had to take, the benefits of conquering the other party were obviously greater. Hiss! The black king snake understood what Cang Nian's cry meant, and for a moment he was overjoyed, raising his head and gently rubbing Cang Nian's body. Its movements were very gentle, and compared to its huge body, it was undoubtedly the result of being cautious. I found a new owner. I won't be hungry anymore. It knows Cang Nian well, and knows that Cang Nian's hunting ability is very strong, and he always hits the target. Raising snakes is good in every way, but snakes have low IQ and are not interactive, but now evolution has greatly improved its IQ. The most handsome appearance with perfect interactivity. Is there a better pet than this? Feeling the intimate behavior of the black king snake, Cang Nian also rubbed it, and the touch of the cool scales made him feel very comfortable. Chapter 84 Little Sable's Sense of Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although he had a snake mount, Cang Nian did not ride it during the subsequent patrol of the territory. After all, riding on it cannot improve the proficiency of the wild running skill. Cang Nian is not as lazy as Brother Hu, so naturally he will not have a mount and will no longer need to walk on his legs. Brother Tiger wanted to ride the black king snake and show off, but on the one hand, Cang Nian and Tiger's father would never agree to its behavior, and on the other hand, the black king snake didn't want Brother Tiger to ride it. Taiwan Novel Network did. Therefore, Brother Tiger could only run on the ground, and the family of 3, plus the black king snake that Cang Nian had tamed, patrolled the territory together. After knowing that the black king snake can grow rapidly if there is food, Cang Nian became more motivated to hunt prey while patrolling the territory. When there is a high probability that loyalty can be guaranteed, it is natural to spare no effort to cultivate it. What's more, hunting prey can also improve your proficiency in slaughtering skills. In this way, until noon, when the patrol of the territory ended, Cang Nian's slaughter skill proficiency increased by nearly 50 levels. Coupled with the number of hunts yesterday and the interspersed fish killing sessions when honing various skills in the afternoon, the proficiency of the slaughter skill has reached the 1300th level. The most outrageous thing is the appetite of the black king snake. No matter what prey Cang Nian hunts, it can swallow it immediately. Cang Nian calculated that the total weight of the prey it ate may have exceeded 200 kilograms. This is almost as much as its own weight. Even a loser like Tiger Brother can only eat half of his body weight in food. All I can say is that racial talent is incomparable. Ouch! Seeing the tiger mother coming towards her, wary of the black king snake following her, Cang Nian quickly explained. After understanding what Cang Nian meant, although Tiger Mother didn't quite understand it, she also supported Cang Nian's decision. Xiao Zai Zai will definitely not do anything that is not beneficial. Just like when Cang Nian was just born, he crawled around everywhere. It seemed like a waste of energy, but in fact he was training himself. Ouch! Immediately, Cang Nian raised his head and called out to the little sable on the evolutionary pine tree. Hearing Cang Nian's cry, the dozing little sable poked its head out from the branch, but saw a black king snake growing on the ground, and was immediately frightened. Gigi. The hair on the little sable's body exploded, and it arched its back and raised its tail, as if this would make it look bigger and deter the enemy. Seeing this, Cang Nian remembered that the sable diet did include snakes, but most of the snakes in the northeast snow ridge were highly venomous, so the sable race might have had quite a few deaths due to snakes. It's no wonder that the little sable was so frightened after seeing the black king snake. These two species are essentially natural enemies of each other, but now, the size of the black king snake next to Cang Nian is comparable to the extreme size of the giant python. If the little sable still feels that he is the opponent's natural enemy, then he is really in trouble. Seeing that the little sable was so scared, Cang Nian had no choice but to do ideological work for the black king snake first. Ouch! Cang Nian looked at the black king snake and said that the little sable on the tree was his friend. If he wanted to stay by his side in the future, he would never hurt it. After hearing Cang Nian's explanation, the black king snake raised its head and looked at the little sable, then lowered its body and nodded its huge head. Apparently, it has been following Cang Nian's family for at least half a month, and it has understood the meaning of nodding and shaking its head, and can use it skillfully. No matter what orders Cang Nian gives, he will execute them without hesitation. The little sable on the tree, following Cang Nian for a longer time, naturally understood what Cang Nian was explaining to the black king snake. Immediately, its back stopped arching and its fur stopped blowing, but the way it looked at the black king snake changed from vigilance to vigilance. The original vigilance was to be wary of dangerous creatures, the vigilance now is the vigilance against threats to one's own status. So, the little sable immediately overcame its fear, ran down the evolutionary pine tree with a squeak, and came to Cang Nian's side in the blink of an eye. The little sable squatted on the ground, with its upper body upright and its two little paws holding the old man's legs. Zatsidi. Woo woo woo, am I so useless that the king found a new younger brother? Your Majesty, don't abandon me. I can alert. I can keep a lookout. Where is this going? That the little sable's tearful begging did not stop Cang Nian. Ouch! But after thinking for a moment, Cang Nian realized that the little sable saw that it had accepted another animal that was not of the same race, and felt a sense of crisis, so, he could only explain it dumbfoundingly. Taming the black king snake is not about replacing your little sable. And you are my friend. How could I abandon you? Squeak. After hearing Cang Nian's explanation, the little sable calmed down, but still screamed a little worriedly. Really? Cang Nian nodded helplessly, indicating that what he said was true. Now, the little sable suddenly became happy. Gigi. Even, with its hard-to-change nature, it even made faces at the black king snake, wagging its tail and twisting its buttocks, in a provocative manner. Ahaha. I am the king's friend. You are the king's younger brother. Even though you are tall, I am much higher than you. Hiss. Just when Cang Nian thought that the black king snake would be irritated, it came close to Cang Nian and rubbed it with its big head, with more force than before, as if it was stubbornly seeking recognition. Seeing this, Cang Nian hurriedly coaxed it, I also treat you as a friend. There is no difference in status between the two of you. After hearing Cang Nian's explanation, the black king snake obediently coiled up its body, shaking its head, as if it was very comfortable and in a good mood, and when Cang Nian turned his head, the little sable had already hidden on the evolutionary pine tree. It just thought that when the black king snake stretched out its head to rub Cang Nian, it was going to eat it in one bite. Immediately, Cang Nian climbed up the tree in 3 steps and 2 steps, came to the little sable, and gently patted the little sable's head with his claws. Don't you know how much meat you have? If I hadn't been here to provoke such a big guy, you would have been swallowed. Cang Nian scolded the little sable angrily. It was like this before in the original habitat, when he and his tiger brother were still very weak and had not yet learned to climb trees. The little sable would provoke them for no reason. Now, he dared to provoke the black king snake. He was really tired of living. Squeak, being scolded by Cang Nian. The little sable also realized how stupid his behavior was just now. He lowered his head weakly and cried softly to show that he realized his mistake. Chapter 85 Vision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After returning home, he had a meal to replenish the energy consumed in patrolling the territory in the morning, and then Cang Nian began to hone the proficiency of various skills. First, he went up and down the evolutionary pine tree 25 times to brush up a level of climbing skill proficiency. Then, he came to the waterfall and killed the fish falling from the waterfall. After killing 10 fish, he went downstream and swam 10 kilometers to brush up a level of swimming skill proficiency. Then, he went to the shore and ran all the way home on the grass along the river with almost no shelter. He rested for a while and repeated the previous process. In this way, several important skills such as climbing, pulling out of the ground, slaughtering, swimming, and running will be trained. During the rest period, Cang Nian will also practice the tearing skill on several animal skins, although most of the proficiency of the tearing skill was brushed on Tiger Brother, but Cang Nian is not a devil. Except for Tiger Brother, he will not use this skill anywhere else. In short, the whole training process is very fulfilling, which can fully hone almost all of his important skills and improve proficiency. Now, the family of 4 has started exercising as the food is sufficient. However, in order to guard the food, the tiger father and mother will take turns to exercise swimming and running. The tiger brother swims, hunts, and runs near the house so that at least one of the adult tigers is watching, so there will be no problems. The black king snake came so close for the first time, watching Cang Nian exercise, so it was eager to follow him. The black king snake is also quite good at climbing trees. Although it is not as fast as Cang Nian, it is still much faster than the tiger brother. As for killing fish, Cang Nian pats it to death while it eats it. In terms of swimming, it can keep up with the whole process. After all, the body of snakes is conducive to swimming. But when it comes to running, it can't keep up at all. Even if Cang Nian runs a distance of 10 kilometers at a time, he can maintain more than 30 kilometers per hour. The black king snake can only reach 20 kilometers per hour at most, and it will not be able to maintain it for a long time if it is faster, so it is left behind by Cang Nian. Now, it has learned its lesson and only follows Cang Nian to climb trees and kill fish. Of course, it is mainly responsible for eating fish, and the longer Cang Nian stays with this big guy, the more he likes it. There is no way. It is the hottest summer season. Even if you have deliberately avoided the hottest noon, the afternoon is still very hot. Under the scorching sun, even the upper layer of the river is not too cool, only the deeper areas are cold, and this black king snake is a cold-blooded animal, which needs external heat to maintain body temperature and perform important body functions. Therefore, compared with Cang Nian's family who have to hide in the shade of trees, the black king snake likes to bask in the sun. After the exercise, Cang Nian, who was hot and unbearable, directly pressed his whole body against the black king snake. The cool touch was as refreshing as a cup of cola with ice cubes in the dog days. In order to cool down as soon as possible and make himself comfortable, Cang Nian rolled on the black king snake like a maggot. The black king snake also noticed Cang Nian's behavior, so it carefully coiled up and wrapped Cang Nian in its circles of body, allowing the cold scales to fully contact Cang Nian's hot hair. Well, cool. Feeling the touch of being wrapped in the cold, Cang Nian felt cool from his head along the spine to the tip of his tail. Ah! Seeing this scene, the tiger father who was taking turns with the tiger mother was startled and ran over quickly. The little cub was wrapped like a dumpling by the big snake. Tiger father knew that the way a large snake attacks is to strangle. But when he saw Cang Nian, who only had a small head exposed in the circles of the black king snake's body and looked very happy, and then looked at the black king snake's body that didn't tighten at all, Tiger Father realized that it was a false alarm. Seeing Cang Nian's comfortable look, Tiger Father was very curious and stretched out his claws to touch the black king snake. This frightened the black king snake, and it quickly let go of Cang Nian and swam quickly on the grass, avoiding him. For more than 10 meters, at this time, Cang Nian, who was squinting his eyes to enjoy, opened his eyes in a daze, saw Tiger Dad's actions, and then looked at the black king snake not far away, and then he figured out what was going on. Ah, so, Cang Nian shouted at the black king snake, come back. Don't be afraid of Tiger Dad, it won't hurt you. Ah, hearing Cang Nian's explanation, Tiger Dad shouted in agreement, I just want to touch you, not to scratch you to death. Out of absolute trust in Cang Nian, the Black King snake hesitated for 2 seconds and then crawled back obediently. Seeing this, Tiger Dad's big ears trembled, and he raised his claws and carefully explored the body of the Black King snake. In fact, because of his experience when he was a subadult, Tiger Dad was still a little afraid of snakes, but since the Black King snake has been subdued by the cub, there is no need to be too afraid. He is the father of the little cub, how can he show his weakness in front of the child? The tiger father's eyes suddenly brightened when his paw gently pressed on the smooth body of the Black King snake with dense scales. So cool. Tigers do not have sweat glands. The main heat dissipation channel, in addition to opening their mouths and sticking out their tongues, is the rare exposed parts not covered by fur, the plum blossom pads of the forepaws. When the paw pads touched the body of the Black King snake, the tiger father immediately felt extremely cool, and a lot of the accumulated heat in his body was taken away. The small river next to it is good in every way, the only bad thing is that there is no shade. Either soak in the cool river water and get exposed to the sun, or hide under the shade of the tree, you can only choose one of the two. After the Black King snake was sure that the tiger father would not hurt itself, its body stopped shaking. The time of self-discipline is always fleeting. Soon, the sun was setting, and the whole day was about to pass. However, Cang Nian is no longer young and weak, and he can exercise even late at night. I don't know how many times he ran to the waterfall, and after climbing up and down the evolutionary pine tree, Cang Nian came to the waterfall and prepared to go into the water to kill fish, but at this time, he was suddenly stunned. What happened upstream? Why did the river water become so turbid? That looking at the gray-brown, turbid river water, Cang Nian frowned. Just now, he was running wildly, and he hadn't noticed the changes in the river water. Then, he looked down at the river and found that the sky reflected by the river water seemed to be the wrong color. Then, he looked up at the sky and found that the sky was actually blood red. This is not the sunset clouds, but blood splashed in the sky. Ah! At this time, Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom did not take turns to exercise, but also noticed the strange phenomenon that appeared unconsciously, and shouted to Cang Nian anxiously, "Boom!" At this moment, the blood-red sky suddenly exploded. Red thunder flashed in the blood-red sky, weaving into a thunder spider web, flashing in waves. Immediately, Cang Nian felt a stream of air from under him. No. It was the area covering this new territory, and there was something like air blowing upwards from the ground. Cang Nian felt that there was a strange thing in this airflow, which made all the cells in his body cheer and jump for joy, and they were all excited because of their appearance. Boom! Then, Cang Nian felt unstable under his feet, and there was a completely different explosion from the thunder in the sky from the ground. Earthquake. Chapter 86 The Spiritual Energy Revival Tide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feeling the shaking of the ground, Cang Nian was panicked at first, but then, he remembered that he was in an open space, with no high mountain slopes around, and no risk of being buried by the earthquake. At this time, Tiger Dad and the others were extremely panicked and hurriedly lay on the ground. Even the little Sable on the evolutionary pine tree hurriedly jumped down from the tree, trembling all over, in the same location. Even in the earthquake zone, it is rare for 2 strong earthquakes to occur in 3 or 4 years, and the northeast snow ridge is actually not in the earthquake zone. Therefore, even adult tiger parents have not experienced such a terrible natural disaster as an earthquake. Fortunately, Tiger Dad had foresight and chose to migrate to other places for safety. Otherwise, if we were still in our original habitat, we should have returned to the cave and prepared to sleep at this time. If it was a little more intense, we might be buried by the collapsed rocks and soil in an instant. Feeling the horror of the earthquake, Cang Nian was extremely fortunate. But what makes Cang Nian feel very outrageous is that the duration of this earthquake is too long, right? Even if it is a magnitude 8.0 earthquake, the shaking lasts only 1 or 2 minutes. There will be intermittent aftershocks, but they will not be too severe. Cang Nian estimates that the intensity of this earthquake should not reach the level of 8.0 magnitude, which can split mountains and crack the earth. It lasted for at least 15 minutes. Are we still far away from the center of the earthquake? The actual earthquake in the center of the earthquake is far more than 8.0 magnitude. Thinking of this, a terrifying guess emerged in Cang Nian's mind, boom boom boom. As time went by, Cang Nian felt that the shaking of the earthquake became more and more vague, and the first wave of earthquakes finally ended. But Cang Nian did not feel completely relieved, but took advantage of this time to run to the location of Tiger Dad and the others. Seeing Cang Nian joining them, Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom, who had just been unable to move under the huge earthquake, rubbed Cang Nian with relief. They had never experienced such a natural disaster and had no idea how to deal with it. They could only lie there and pray for the earthquake to stop. Cang Nian also rubbed against Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom, and at this time the family of 4 had reunited with the little Sable and the Black King Snake, but Cang Nian knew that this was not the end, so he told Tiger Dad and the others that they still needed to stay in the open space, otherwise they would be in danger. Tiger Dad and the others didn't understand at all, but since Cang Nian said so, there must be a reason for it, so they gathered together and came to the center of the open space. There are no mountains, no boulders, and no trees here. Even if there are aftershocks, there is no risk of things falling down around and hitting them, unless the ground will crack from here. Although it was dark at this time, according to the habit of Cang Nian's family, it was time to go to bed, but the family of 4, plus the little Sable and the Black King Snake, no one dared to close their eyes, even the laziest Tiger brother. What was the airflow that gushed upward from the ground before? Why does my body involuntarily produce desire? Could it be that this is the revival of spiritual energy? No, in fact, the evolution has already begun, but it has always been subtle before. Now this may be called the spiritual energy revival tide. Short and fierce, it feels like the whole air is filled with spiritual energy. The danger is over. Cang Nian has the energy to think, and his mind is divergent, but at this moment, he saw Tiger Brother with his mouth wide open, yawning, and then lying on the ground with his eyes closed. Can you sleep at this time? This guy is really spoiled. Seeing this, Cang Nian was furious, and his claws were already raised, slapping Tiger Brother. However, before his claws fell on Tiger Brother, a sudden drowsiness rushed into his brain. What's going on? Cang Nian felt that his consciousness was blurring rapidly, and his doubtful thoughts had not been fully expressed in his mind, and his eyelids closed heavily. Cricket. Cricket. The chirping of insects in the early morning echoed in his ears, and Cang Nian slowly opened his eyes, but at this moment, he felt that his eyes became extremely clear, as if all the filth in front of his eyes had been washed away. What's going on? Hey! Why did the farsight skill change? Such an abnormality made Cang Nian quickly open the skill panel. I saw that the original farsight skill had been changed to insight. Looking at the skill level, it should be the advanced skill of the farsight skill, that is, the 3rd level skill. It has been upgraded to a whole major level. Is this the benefit brought by the spiritual energy revival tide? A sense of joy that came from a blessing in disguise rose in Cang Nian's heart. Then, he looked at the level and proficiency of other skills. What made Cang Nian feel the most happy was that all skills, as long as they had not reached level 3, were directly upgraded to level 3. And the skills that had been upgraded to level 3 before, each of them had a skill proficiency upgrade. Unfortunately, the skills that have been upgraded to level 4 or above have not changed at all. The most typical example is the sprint skill. The proficiency has not increased at all. This is also very good. You can't be too greedy when being a tiger. Cang Nian nodded with satisfaction. Ding. Detected that the host has acquired superpowers. Numerologist. Being integrated into this system. Please wait. At this moment, a system prompt sound that he had never heard before suddenly appeared in Cang Nian's mind. Superpowers. Numerologist. Cang Nian's heart skipped a beat, and then he was ecstatic. In his previous life, he was also an old bookworm, and he had read many novels about spiritual energy revival. Aura revival with superpower awakening is the same as rebirth with system. It is a standard configuration. Although I already have a system, who would complain about having too many golden fingers? Although this, numerologist, sounds a bit weird, it's better to have superpowers than not, right? Ding! Superpowers, numerologist, has been integrated into this system. Please check it. Just when Cang Nian was excited, another system prompt sound came. Immediately, Cang Nian saw that a new independent section appeared on his system panel, and this section looked a bit rough, with only a few lines of text: strength, 10, speed, 50, defense, 10, physical strength, 20, spirit, 10, maximum free attribute points, 10%. The entire panel was just a few simple lines of text, which made Cang Nian a little confused. Maximum free attribute points. Numerologist. Can I freely adjust my attributes in all aspects? Thinking of this, Cang Nian used his consciousness to move the 5 attribute points in the speed column to the strength column. Chapter 87 Changes in a Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Cang Nian's thoughts fell, the panel of the numerist changed immediately. Strength, 15, speed, 45, defense, 10, physical strength, 20, spirit, 10. There was no change in the other attribute columns, but the attribute points in the speed column decreased by 5 points, and the attribute points in the strength column increased by 5 points. As Cang Nian finished this operation, he immediately felt that his muscles suddenly swelled. 5 attribute points are only 1/10 of Cang Nian's speed attribute, but for Cang Nian's strength attribute, it is equivalent to a 50% increase. Such an increase is equivalent to turning an ordinary person into a macho man in the blink of an eye. Immediately, Cang Nian slapped his claws heavily on the grass. Snap! Ding! Tier 1, tier skill proficiency +1. 4500/10,000. The weeds on the ground were snapped off in an instant, and a clear claw mark was left on the soil on the ground. Because of the previous spiritual energy revival tide, Cang Nian has reached the 3rd level of the tearing skill, and his proficiency has increased a lot. Hiss. It hurts a little, but this ability is really good. It is very practical, the power that originally did not belong to him, plus he was hitting the ground. Unlike the fleshy body of Tiger Brother, Cang Nian felt quite painful, but such an effect was enough to make him excited. Now, numerologist, can only move 10% of the maximum attribute points. Then, as I become stronger, there should be an improvement, right? Move your strong attributes to your weaknesses when needed, and you can raise your upper limit a lot. Although it is very different from the supernatural power that I imagined, which has fancy special effects and looks cool, but the pure value is also charming. Moreover, this is equivalent to, when the proportion of free attribute points is increased, I will have no shortcomings. Strength is poor. Move all speed attributes to strength, and instantly become an invincible muscle tyrant. Poor defense. Move all speed attributes to defense, and instantly become tougher than a turtle. Hey! Since I have superpowers, shouldn't Tiger Dad and the others have them too? After figuring out his own superpowers, Cang Nian began to think, so, he stood up immediately, but found that the weeds around him were several times taller. Hey! I seem to have grown up a lot. At this time, Cang Nian felt that his visual height had increased a lot after he stood up, and he immediately guessed, ouch. At this time, a familiar, yet somewhat different voice sounded in Cang Nian's ears. Turning around, a tall and big figure appeared in front of Cang Nian. Fuck. How did you grow so big? From the voice, it was Tiger Brother's cry, but when Cang Nian saw Tiger Brother's current appearance, he almost didn't recognize him. The original Tiger Brother was estimated to be more than 20 kilograms, and now, Tiger Brother has grown several times in a flash, and Cang Nian even suspects that it has eaten Jean Kulao. I'm afraid it's 50 kilograms. How did it grow? Ah! Immediately, the cries of Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom were heard from the side. Cang Nian turned his head and saw that Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom had changed a lot. Tiger Dad was already very big, and now he is even taller and stronger, and his weight is estimated to have reached 500 kilograms. But compared with the changes of Tiger Mom, it is not worth mentioning. The change in Tiger Mom's body size is not big, probably from 200 kilograms to 280 kilograms, but the strangest thing is that the orange part of Tiger Mom's fur color has completely disappeared, and it has become black and white. Tiger Mom has become a white tiger. In fact, the current white tigers are all derived from the genetic mutation of Bengal tigers. The white tiger mutated from the Siberian tiger has not appeared yet. If this is seen by human biologists who specialize in tiger research, I am afraid they will be caught for research. Ah! Cang Nian was about to ask Tiger Dad and them if they found something new on their bodies, but Tiger Brother cried out first, "It's so hungry. It wants to eat meat." Gurgle, after being interrupted by his tiger brother, Cang Nian realized that his stomach was empty, and all the cells in his body were urging him to eat quickly, so, although the tiger family had not figured out what was going on, they walked towards the direction of the remaining blood and flesh of the wild boar, but when the perspective changed, Cang Nian was stunned. Fuck! So tall, so big, that the evolved pine tree, which was originally more than 50 meters long, has now grown a lot. Cang Nian couldn't estimate it, but it might have grown to twice its original height. At this time, Cang Nian looked around and found that the whole jungle was different. The original northeast snow ridge did not actually have too many very thick and tall trees, so it did not look like the atmosphere of the primeval forest in the documentary, but now, everything has become much bigger, making Cang Nian look like he has really stepped into the primeval forest that only exists in the tropics in the documentary. Awoo! Awoo! Cang Nian was amazed at this amazing scene. The tiger father and mother were also stunned, and the tiger brother had already run to the remaining blood and flesh of the wild boar and started eating it in big mouthfuls. Seeing this, Cang Nian no longer bothered about the change in the environment. The revival of spiritual energy is irreversible. Whatever changes occur, my family can only face them head-on. Now, let's eat first. Ding. Eat 10 kilograms of evolved meat, meat-eating skill proficiency plus 70. 105/10,000. After eating a full 10 kilograms of evolved meat, Cang Nian felt completely full. Ha! I guess it's because of the previous evolutionary process, which directly consumes the energy stored in our body, and once it's consumed, it directly consumes fat. I estimate that I now weigh more than 20 kilograms. Even a body of fat cannot support such a transformation. No wonder Brother Tiger is so eager to eat meat. After eating and drinking enough, Cang Nian finally calmed down and understood why his family was so hungry. Hiss. At this time, Cang Nian felt something bumping into him gently. Fuck! Cang Nian didn't know that this was the first time he had said fuck since waking up today. No one else, because everything he saw today was too amazing for him. The only one who would remind him like this is the Black King Snake. At this moment, the size of the Black King Snake has increased dramatically. The original size of 30 centimeters has become 40 centimeters. As for the length, Cang Nian is not easy to judge. Seeing Cang Nian looking at him, the Black King Snake coiled himself up, raised his head, and opened his mouth. It turns out I'm hungry. Cang Nian immediately understood such simple body language. Turning around, he saw that after being devoured by his family, only the skeleton of the male wild boar's body, which originally had 200 kilograms of clean meat left, was left. Originally, according to Cang Nian's family's appetite, it should take several days to finish it slowly. But the sudden appearance of the spiritual energy revival tide made Cang Nian's family hungry, and they emptied their food in an instant. Chapter 88, Each Person's Special Ability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ouch! After finishing the wild boar meat on the ground, Cang Nian asked the Black King Snake to wait for a while before going up the tree to get the dried meat. Although evolved meat is quite precious, Cang Nian knows that it is no longer the past. Taiwan Novel Network. There were not many evolved creatures in the past. After eating the wild boar meat, I don't know when I will hunt for evolved creatures next time, but after the previous wave of spiritual energy recovery, even if not all creatures have evolved, at least the proportion of evolved creatures will be greatly increased. In the future, evolved creatures will not be so difficult to encounter, and with the hunting skills of my family, even if the prey evolves, hunting will not be difficult. Cang Nian has this confidence. It was originally a predator at the top of the food chain, and it evolved much earlier than most organisms. It would be a shame if the creatures at the bottom of the food chain could be driven down from the top of the food chain. Hiss. However, when he heard that Cang Nian was going to get the dried meat, the Black King Snake shook his head. Immediately, it slowly swam to the body of the male wild boar, which had been eaten by Cang Nian's family, leaving only the skeleton. Then, it opened its mouth, stretched its head to an extremely exaggerated width, and swallowed the scattered male boar skeletons. However, although the width of 40 centimeters is thick, it is still unreasonable to want to swallow the body of a male wild boar. The tiger dad on the side looked at this scene curiously, then raised his paw and slapped the male wild boar's skeleton suddenly. However, the bones of the male wild boar are too tough. Even if the tiger father is already 500 kilograms in size, it is difficult to shake under this terrifying huge force. Seeing this, Father Tiger's face was a little confused, and then he became serious, and the muscles all over his body were trembling. Ha! The next second, Tiger Dad's black, white and orange fur suddenly started to rise from his paws, and a dark flame began to rise upwards, quickly wrapping Tiger Dad. Ha! The black king snake that was closest to the tiger father and was swallowing the bones of a male wild boar was startled, spit out the bones and retreated quickly. The tiger mother and tiger brother were also frightened and panicked. Fuck! What is this? Seeing this scene, Cang Nian thought Dad Tiger was attacked by something, but if you look closely, there is no trace of pain or fear on Father Tiger's darkened face, as if he is prepared. Is this Tiger Dad's superpower? Immediately, a bold guess came to Cang Nian's mind. The tiger father raised his paw again and slapped it on the male wild boar's frame. Click! This time, the thick and hard bones were unable to withstand the fierce slaps from Dad Tiger and broke. Bang bang bang! Feeling his strong strength, the tiger father became happy and continued to slap the male wild boar's skeleton with one claw after another with great interest. In just a few clicks, the male wild boar's huge frame had been photographed into pieces that would be less difficult to swallow. Then, the dark flames on Father Tiger's body quickly subsided, and Father Tiger returned to his original black, white, and orange appearance. However, it can be seen that Tiger Dad has become obviously tired. Obviously, the state just now took a lot of consumption from Tiger Dad. Tiger Dad's power is a status power. In that state, the strength increases significantly. Will there be enhancements to other attributes? After watching the complete process, Cang Nian quickly summarized the effects based on the phenomenon that just appeared. Although the summary is not complete, if Tiger Dad only relies on the substantial increase in strength, then this ability can be considered quite powerful. Ouch! After finishing all this, the tiger father pointed with his paw at the male wild boar skeleton scattered on the ground and barked, "Eat quickly." Although the tiger dad doesn't know why the black king snake still eats bones when it has evolved meat, but since it wants to eat, let it eat. Seeing this, the black king snake was not polite, opened its mouth wide and began to swallow. The black king snake swallowed much faster than before the spiritual energy recovery tide. After a while, all the skeletons on the ground entered the belly of the black king snake. Just when Cang Nian was worried about whether there would be bone fragments that could scratch the belly of the black king snake, the originally bulging body of the black king snake began to squirm. After a while, the place where the left branch seemed to be protruding and the right branch became rounded. After a while, the black king snake returned to its original size. No. It's not back to its original size. It seems to have grown a lot. But at this moment, Cang Nian's perspective skill has evolved into an insight skill. Although it is not as good as the eye is a ruler, Cang Nian is still relatively sensitive to changes in size that are not too subtle. He will never be wrong. The body of the black king snake has become thicker. Although the magnitude is not huge, there is definitely a change. Could it be that the black king snake's special ability is that it can digest things that have no nutrients, and as long as it is digested, it can grow in size? Seeing this scene, Cang Nian analyzed and summarized it habitually. Ouch! Then, Cang Nian looked at the tiger mother and called out, "Mom, do you feel any other changes besides your body shape? Are there any strange methods?" Perhaps due to the re-evolution, Tiger Mother became smarter and instantly understood what Cang Nian meant. Then, it fell into thinking. After a while, it closed its eyes and raised a paw. After a few seconds, a magical scene happened. A little tiger appeared on the ground in front of Tiger Mom. No. Isn't this me? And it's still me before, that seeing this scene, Cang Nian was stunned for a moment, through the eyes of Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom, as well as the calm river water downstream, he could see what he looked like. The little tiger that Tiger Mom made was exactly like himself. And it was still more than 10 kilograms before. Seeing this, Cang Nian couldn't help but touch the little tiger with his paw, but in the end, his paw passed through the little tiger and touched nothing. So that's it, Tiger Mom's ability can release phantoms to the point where they are real enough to be mistaken for real. Although it is not lethal, it will definitely work wonders if placed in some specific situations. Now, Cang Nian roughly understood what Tiger Mom's ability is. Aoo. Then, Cang Nian looked at the tiger brother who was eating so much that he was chubby. Compared with his own body size, it is now bigger than before the spiritual energy revival tide. In addition to the change in body size, are there any other changes in your body? Since he, Tiger Dad, Tiger Mom, and Black King Snake have all gained superpowers with the previous spiritual energy revival tide, Tiger Brother should not have none. Hearing Cang Nian's cry, Tiger Brother pondered for a while, and then his eyes lit up. Ao. Immediately, it raised its butt and rushed towards Cang Nian. Come. Hit me. Cang Nian raised his paws and rubbed his face, suspecting that he was not awake. Chapter 89 The Tiger Brother Who Wants to be Beaten. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Tiger Brother's actions, a sentence inexplicably emerged in Cang Nian's mind. I have never seen such a request in my life. However, since Tiger Brother asked me to fight, he must have awakened a defense-related ability, right? In this case, I must cooperate well. Immediately, Cang Nian's mouth curled up. Pa. The next second, Cang Nian's claws were raised high, and then fell heavily, accurately hitting Tiger Brother's butt. Ding! Tier 1's, Tier Skill Proficiency +1. 4501/10,000. As Cang Nian's claws fell on Tiger Brother's butt, Cang Nian felt a touch he had never felt before, very elastic. Although Tiger Brother was fat, he still had the touch of muscles and bones under the fat, but now, Cang Nian felt like he was hitting a piece of soft rubber, full of elasticity. However, there was no other change after this claw, as if it was just pure elasticity, but Cang Nian observed Tiger Brother's expression, but he didn't see Tiger Brother in any pain. Although he was much smaller than Tiger Brother, he was much stronger than a tiger cub of the same size because he kept exercising all the time. The previous encounter with the lynx, he slapped it away with one claw, which was proof. And this time, the proportion of his body growth with Tiger Brother was actually similar. I should be about 25 kilograms now, and Tiger Brother is about 50 kilograms now, so, in fact, the damage effect of his attack on Tiger Brother should be almost the same as before the spiritual energy revival tide. Could it be that Tiger Brother's ability is to make it feel no pain when it is beaten? Did I beat it too much before, so that its awakened ability has such a humble effect? Looking at Tiger Brother who was sticking his butt up to be beaten, Cang Nian felt a little guilty. Ah! Tiger Brother was slapped by Cang Nian, but he didn't feel any pain. He was so happy that his ears trembled and he turned his head and shouted, "Keep going. Don't stop." Hearing Tiger Brother's unreasonable request, Cang Nian's mouth twitched, and Tiger Brother could withstand his full-strength attack without injury or pain, which also made Cang Nian feel relieved. So, he controlled the system panel in his mind and used Numerical Master to transfer the 5 attribute points of the speed attribute to the strength column. Snap! This time, the claw attack with a power that was half of the original power hit Tiger Brothers but with great force. Ah! This time, Tiger Brother was no longer at ease, but screamed. Sure enough, there is still an upper limit to what can be endured. Seeing this scene, Cang Nian smiled. If he couldn't do anything to Tiger Brother, wouldn't it be going to make trouble in the future? And then, according to Tiger Brother's request just now, he raised his claws and slapped Tiger Brother's butt again and again. Snap, snap, snap. A series of crisp sounds exploded on Tiger Brother's butt, and it screamed in pain and stood up to escape. However, how could its speed be faster than Cang Nian? Even if he used Numerologist to move the 5 attribute points of speed to the strength column, Cang Nian's speed was still 45 points. It was only 10% slower than his original self, not slower than Tiger Brother. Ah! Before he could feel proud for a few seconds, Tiger Brother, who was beaten back to reality by Cang Nian, fled for a while, and finally realized that he could not escape, so he cried and begged for mercy. Seeing this, Cang Nian stopped immediately. He was just testing Tiger Brother's ability. Since Tiger Brother did not try, he certainly would not force it. However, Tiger Brother's ability was really useless compared to the abilities of the Black King Snake and Tiger Dad. It was comparable to Tiger Mom's ability that could only create phantoms, but this also allowed Tiger Brother to have a certain degree of life-saving ability even if he encountered danger. How can being able to withstand beatings not be considered a means of life-saving? Although Tiger Brother cried loudly after he increased his strength, he should have resisted most of the damage. It was just that after he increased his strength, some of the damage would overflow, causing Tiger Brother to feel pain. Ah! Just as Cang Nian was summarizing the effects of Tiger Brother's ability, Tiger Brother cried out to Cang Nian, "Follow me." Is there any effect that hasn't been shown yet? Seeing Tiger Brother asking him to follow him, Cang Nian guessed in his heart. However, since there are other effects, Cang Nian is naturally happy. If Tiger Brother's ability is stronger than his, he would be a little envious, but the stronger Tiger Brother's ability is, the stronger his self-protection ability is, which is naturally a good thing. After a while, Tiger Brother brought Cang Nian to a dead tree that fell on the ground. Ah! Immediately, Tiger Brother pointed at the dead tree with his claws and asked Cang Nian to hit it with all his strength. Although he didn't know what Tiger Brother was going to do, Cang Nian still used 15 points of strength to hit the dead tree with all his strength. Snap! Ding! Tier 1s, Tier Skill Proficiency +1. 4543/10,000. A claw fell, leaving a deep claw mark on the dead tree, and Cang Nian felt a little pain. It would be nice if I could add some defense attributes when adding attack. Cang Nian briefly summarized. Seeing the claw mark left by Cang Nian, Tiger Brother showed a proud smile on his face. Immediately, it raised its claws and slapped the dead tree hard. Gotcha! With just one blow, the dead wood with a diameter of 30 centimeters broke with a sound, and wood chips flew everywhere. Although the dead wood had been corroded by various insects and microorganisms for a period of time, its strength was naturally not comparable to that of normal logs, but Tiger Brother, a little tiger weighing only 50 kilograms, broke such a thick dead wood, and the impact force was still very amazing. Fuck! It's not a simple ability to resist beating, but energy storage and release. In just a moment, Cang Nian understood what the effect of Tiger Brother's ability was. Tiger Brother was beaten by himself before, and it seemed that he was just being beaten, but in fact, he had accumulated all the power of his repeated beatings in his body. And now, it is released at once, and the destructive power is much stronger than his own. For the time being, Tiger Brother's ability is much stronger than his own. Numerologist. In fact, it feels stronger than Tiger Dad's ability to burn with black flames all over his body, improve combat power, and the ability of the Black King Snake to grow in size by eating and digesting. This instant burst is too fierce, right? Ah! But just when Cang Nian was envious of Brother Hu's abnormal ability, he heard a heart-wrenching cry, "Ao, ao, ao." Turning around, Brother Hu was lying on the ground, with his right paw raised in an exaggerated arc, rolling on the ground in pain. Chapter 90, Extreme Joy Leads to Sorrow. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Broken bones? Damn! How can I have such a stupid brother? He only cares about showing off his strength and doesn't consider whether he can bear it. Seeing the Tiger Brother lying on the ground wailing, Cang Nian was suddenly in tears and laughter. The Tiger Brother's ability is now very clear. It can be divided into 3 effects in essence. The first is to make its body elastic and have excellent energy absorption effect, which improves its defense and makes it more resistant to attacks. The second is to store the damage received in the body when it is attacked. The third is to release the energy stored by the previous damage, causing far more destructive power than itself. But the effect of force is mutual. No matter how much energy the Tiger Brother releases at one time, the feedback he receives is equally fierce when it hits something. Therefore, even with the first effect to help it improve its physical defense, it still couldn't withstand Cang Nian's dozens of scratches and the terrifying explosion that gathered. Although Cang Nian's strength is not very strong, the energy contained in dozens of scratches should be similar to the full-strength attack of an adult female Siberian tiger like Tiger Mom. It is easy to imagine what would happen if such an attack fell on a tiger cub weighing about 50 kilograms. Fortunately, the tiger brother only suffered this terrible destruction on his right paw, which was only fractured. If such a force was evenly hit on the tiger brother's body, he would definitely die. The tiger brother's screams naturally attracted the tiger's parents. Looking at the exaggerated arc of the tiger brother's right paw, the tiger's parents were at a loss. They had never suffered such serious injuries since they were young, and they didn't know how to deal with it. Now they could only worry. In fact, if a wild tiger, regardless of size, suffers such a severe injury, it can basically be sentenced to death. The position of the tiger brother's bones must be corrected and fixed. Otherwise, even if it can heal itself with the physique of an evolved creature, it will definitely grow into a deformity in the end. Seeing this, Cang Nian hurriedly thought of a way. He wanted to use his claws to help the tiger brother correct his bones, but the tiger's claws were too inflexible and it was difficult to complete such a delicate operation. That's right. The claws of the little Sable are much more flexible than those of the tiger, so it should be able to do this job. At this moment, Cang Nian suddenly had an idea and thought of the little Sable that had been ignored before. So, he hurriedly shouted loudly, calling the little Sable, Squeak. After a while, the little Sable jumped down from the tree. It turned out that it woke up later, and after waking up, it climbed up the tree because of hunger to eat the dried meat hanging on the tree. After hearing Cang Nian's call, it immediately came to Cang Nian. Seeing the little Sable, Cang Nian quickly explained the situation and asked it to treat the fracture for tiger brother. Then, Cang Nian searched through the dead wood that tiger brother had just broken, and found 2 pieces of wood with suitable shapes and sizes. Then, he went into the jungle again and pulled out a thin vine in a short while. After doing all this, Cang Nian looked at Tiger Mom and asked her to hold Tiger Brother's body down and not let him move. After hearing this, Tiger Mom didn't understand what Cang Nian was going to do, but she still did what Cang Nian wanted, gently holding Tiger Brother's body down, leaving only her right paw exposed. Tiger Brother struggled wildly in pain, but it was only a 50-kilogram little tiger after all, and had no ability to resist the power of an adult tiger like Tiger Mom. Immediately, Cang Nian asked the little Sable to start moving. At first, the little Sable used its 2 little paws to carefully expose Tiger Brother, and gently bent its exaggeratedly curved right paw to the correct position. Then, under Cang Nian's command, it clamped Tiger Brother's paw with 2 thin wooden strips, one above and one below. Finally, it took some effort to use rattan to fix Tiger Brother's right paw firmly in the middle of the 2 thin wooden strips. The little Sable tried to shake it twice, and the 2 thin wooden strips did not move, so Cang Nian was relieved. There were no treatment conditions in the wild, so the only thing to do was to move Tiger Brother's claw back to the correct position and then fix it with a splint. Based on the self-healing ability of evolved creatures that Tiger Dad had shown before, such treatment measures should be enough to prevent Tiger Brother's fracture from leaving any sequelae. After doing all this, Cang Nian called Tiger Mom. You can let go. Hearing Cang Nian's call, Tiger Mom carefully released Tiger Brother. At this time, Tiger Brother was already exhausted from the pain. This is equivalent to bone-setting surgery without anesthesia, and the degree of pain can be imagined. However, after experiencing the surgery without anesthesia, Tiger Brother's threshold for pain tolerance has temporarily increased a lot. Therefore, the fractured part was fixed, which was far less painful than the surgery without anesthesia, and the wailing in Tiger Brother's mouth slowly stopped. Seeing this, Tiger Dad and Tiger Mom asked Tiger Brother with concern how he felt and whether he still felt pain. Hearing this question, Tiger Brother nodded and shook his head. It still hurts, but not as much as before. Seeing Tiger Brother's performance, Cang Nian knew that there should be no problem. Next, he just rested and recovered. However, there were 2 more pieces of wood on his right paw, which was originally loose, restraining him. Tiger Brother was quite uncomfortable and subconsciously wanted to continue walking normally. But the next second, a scream like a pig being slaughtered sounded again. Tiger Brother's action of putting his right paw on the ground triggered the injury, making it feel the pain of the previous fracture again. Not seeing this, Cang Nian hurriedly used his paw to lift Tiger Brother's armpit forward to prevent his right paw from falling to the ground. After a while, Tiger Brother also understood that his right paw could not fall to the ground now, as it would hurt if it fell to the ground. He could only support the ground with 3 paws and lift his right paw in the air, but after a while, Tiger Brother felt his right paw tired and fell down little by little. Seeing this, Cang Nian remembered that after a human fracture is done through bone-setting surgery, not only a splint is needed, but also a bandage is needed, so, Cang Nian immediately ran into the dense forest, and soon pulled out a longer and thicker vine. Then, Cang Nian directed the little Sable to tie this pure natural bandage to Tiger Brother. Tiger Brother also knew that this was to help him, and cooperated carefully. After a while, after the little Sable jumped up and down, the vines on Tiger Brother's splint were wrapped around Tiger Brother's neck for several circles. In this way, the weight of Tiger Brother's right paw was shared by his neck, so that his arm would not become weak after hanging in the air for a while, and his injured paw would touch the ground and scream in pain again. Finally it's done. Tiger Brother really makes me worry. Now it's good. He obviously awakened a top-notch superpower, but ended up hurting himself. Looking at Tiger Brother who could only walk on 3 legs, Cang Nian wiped the non-existent sweat, feeling extremely tired.